Hello, good morning. Welcome back to Better Than Messages. I'm Lindsay Zimmerman. I want to talk to you guys today about something that's pretty heavy subject matter. In one of the last videos, we talked about having a fire of passion in you and how that passion gives you strength and determination and confidence once you reinforce that passion and that purpose within yourself with actions in your real life. How you gain confidence to be able to do what is necessary to accomplish your purpose in your life. And today, what we need to talk about is our mental health. We need to talk about how the fact that the majority of adults on this planet are coping with some form of PTSD or another, because PTSD isn't just for our military men and women who have seen combat. It affects people who are victims of domestic violence or abuse of any kind, whether that be physical, emotional, mental, financial. PTSD affects your ability to trust. And it also affects your ability to use your own discernment, because a lot of times what PTSD does is cause a mistrust of ourselves and our own discernment and our own judgment. And what I think is really important to remember when you recognize that you, on some level, as an adult person, have experienced trauma in your life, that trauma leaves a long-lasting impact and has repercussions throughout your life if it's not properly dealt with. A strong person doesn't want to admit that the traumas that they have experienced, that the traumas that they have experienced have somehow victimized them, because a strong person doesn't want to view themselves as a victim. And maybe you're not. I certainly don't identify as a victim. I take responsibility for the things that have happened in my life, whether because of my own actions or things that were done to me. We suffer what we allow. And that doesn't mean that I am denigrating a person who has been victimized. I'm not saying that it's your fault. But what I'm saying is that we as individuals have the power within us to transmute that trauma and that the psychological effects and emotional effects that trauma brings to us. We have the opportunity to transmute that and use it to our advantage, use it to make us stronger people. There is the opportunity to illuminate, using trauma and traumatic experiences and the emotions behind those things to illuminate parts of ourselves that we have not been able to recognize before. Speaking as someone who has worked very hard to overcome PTSD, I know that by dealing with the situations, the circumstances, and the emotions that traumatic experiences have triggered within me, by dealing with those things, I have become a stronger person, and I've learned to trust myself more, because what those situations did was illuminate parts of myself that I had not recognized before, but that actually are some of the best parts of myself. And when we can do that, when we can use our traumas to illuminate areas of ourselves that we didn't even know existed, that's when the genesis of a new person begins to arise. That's when you become closer to the version of yourself that you're meant to be. Those traumas that happen to us in our lives, yes, a lot of them should not have happened to you. And it's important to recognize that no person should have to deal with traumatic experiences, but it is part of being human. Human beings are vulnerable creatures. I mean, think about it. Our most vulnerable parts of ourselves, of our bodies, are stored in our bellies, right? In our torsos, where we are just soft flesh. Inherently, human beings are vulnerable creatures. And while those traumatic experiences should not have happened to you, you have the ability to use the experience to come more fully into yourself. And like I said, that is the genesis of a new person, of you becoming the person that you are meant to be. Experiences that happen to us are meant to happen to us so that we can evolve as people. And in one of the previous videos, I also talked about using your discernment to figure out whether or not you are responding to what your ego wants as opposed to what your spirit wants, right? Your body and your mind and your spirit are sending you messages all the time. You're receiving messages all the time. And you can use those, I don't want to say triggers, you can use those cues from your body, your mind, and your spirit to worry, to get yourself stuck in your head, to be in a kind of a mental prison, or you can use those messages to help shine a light on areas that your spirit is wanting to grow. Because we can choose to worry or we can choose happiness. And in a previous video, I think I kind of, was kicking a dead horse when I was explaining, happiness is not, we're not all meant to be happy all the time. That's just not the nature of reality. But we can choose in every single instance, moment in our lives, to choose a higher path. And that's how we're able to take those experiences that have triggered traumatic emotions, traumatic thoughts, and we can transmute those into lessons of growth. But it's all a choice. I'm going to say choose and choice many, many times probably in this video, but it's all a choice, because we, at the end of the day, are responsible for our thoughts and our actions. We are responsible for how we choose to feel about things. We are responsible for how we choose to interact with others and how we choose to perceive others. It's all a choice. And so when you realize that the experiences that you've had are here for your own personal growth, when you realize that your personal growth is dependent on your own determination to become the person that you're meant to be, you are essentially taking your power back. You are essentially saying to the universe, to God, I know that I will overcome. I know that I will have victory over these things that have made me feel victimized. I know that in the end, all of these things are for my betterment, and it's all in how I choose to see them and how I choose to integrate those lessons into my life as I'm moving forward. And really, what we're talking about is embracing the experience of our lives in a loving way, because we understand that all of us are made perfectly. All of our lives are made perfectly. And speaking as a person who comes from a traumatic background, it is difficult to come to that understanding. A lot of us want to say, why me? Why did this happen? Why did that person act that way? But the answers aren't going to lie in those why me questions. The answers are going to lie in, how do I react? And how do I integrate all of that into the person that I am becoming? And so this message really is for people who have found themselves in a worry mindset, in a lack mentality mindset, thinking that you're never going to have enough or be enough because of the things that have happened to you that have apparently held you back. It's about shifting the way that you interpret those experiences so that you can come to them from a place of strength and growth, as opposed to feeling less than or victimized. Because every single one of us is powerful, and every single one of us has an ability to affect huge change in the world. And it all starts right here. It all starts with how you interpret yourself and your place in the world. And so this is just a really quick message. I hope that you can carry it through your day. I love you so much. And you are truly beautiful people who are meant to do beautiful things in the world. And I cannot wait to see all of the ways that we can grow together and change together so that we can bring positive change into the world. I think you are so amazing and so strong and so powerful and so beautiful. I love you so much. Have a great day.